Sawadee and good afternoon. Today is Friday, the 17th of December, 2021, and this is the English language summary of the press briefing by the Center for COVID-19 Situation Administration, or CCSA. As usual, let me begin by summarizing a couple of important points from the Thai briefing given just now before I go through our usual updates for audiences at home. This morning, the meeting spent a bit of time looking at the global situation of COVID as well as the regional situation as regards the Omicron variant. Various measures have been enhanced in neighboring countries, and the meeting discussed those measures as seen in Indonesia, Malaysia, and South Korea. Indonesia, in fact, has recently confirmed one case of the Omicron variant, and they are testing another 5 possible cases. In Malaysia, it was reported that they are suspecting 18 possible cases of the Omicron variant. In Thailand, in fact, we are now with 14 cases of the Omicron, and they have been detected through the Test and Go scheme. 2 additional cases are suspected, so we will continue to keep a close eye on that evolving situation. The meeting this morning also discussed further details which are being considered as guidance for New Year's celebrations for venues, particularly under 1,000 persons. We are still in a risky situation, so we continue to look into specific guidance for family celebrations at work, by private companies and whatnot. And of course, in different provinces, there will be different considerations. I hope to have that guidance for you very soon. Returning now to our usual updates, let me run through an update on the Thailand Pass. We are well into our second month of reopening, and as of today, we have logged a total of 585,357 applications on the Thailand Pass system, and you see that on the screen in front of you. During 1 to 16 December 2021, a total of 122,363 travelers entered Thailand. Of this number, the majority, or 105,681 travelers, entered via the Test and Go or quarantine exemption scheme. 13,453 travelers entered via the Sandbox scheme, and the remaining 3,229 travelers through the alternative quarantine scheme. The majority of international travelers are friends coming from these top 10 countries of origin, namely Germany, the UK, Russia, the UAE, France, Sweden, the US, Norway, Israel, and South Korea. Out of the total number of travelers, only 227 tested positive for COVID-19. This represents approximately 0.18%. Again, this gives us a good level of confidence that indeed the public health measures in place, which have been adapted to accommodate the country's reopening, are effective in both minimizing and identifying COVID-positive patients among our international travelers. Let me turn now to progress in our vaccination drive, with another slide coming up for you shortly. Yesterday, we administered 416,336 doses of the vaccine, which increases the accumulated number of vaccinations to more than 98.8 million doses. This brings us to 69.8% of Thailand's population having received their first dose, and 61%, or almost 44 million people, having received their second dose. We are making very good progress, and in fact, I believe we will reach our set target for vaccinations faster than we anticipated. So we thank everyone for their cooperation in this regard. Another slide that we have up here for you for the booster vaccine, as I mentioned on Wednesday, Bang Su Central Vaccination Center has opened for registration for the third dose for those who have been vaccinated with 2 doses from other vaccination centers nationwide. Registration can be made through the Thai mobile networks, as you see on screen, as currently walk-ins are not yet available at this particular site. You can, however, do walk-in vaccinations at the Thai-Japanese Bangkok Youth Center in Dendang. For those who are outside of Bangkok, you would register for your booster shot at the venue that you received your second shot. Depending, of course, on availability and timing, if that is an issue, you can certainly come to Bangkok to get that booster if it's not yet available or timely in your province. Let's turn now to the general situation with another slide for you as usual, tallying today the new confirmed cases at 3,537 cases. This is a steady decrease, and we are happy to report these figures to you. The total accumulated cases, a little bit over 2 million. New recoveries, happily, are outpacing our new confirmed cases, and that stands at 5,459 cases. And unfortunately, still recording new fatalities at 41 cases today. Next on slide, we have for you the top 10 provinces, as usual, with COVID-19 cases. The numbers in green representing less than what was recorded the previous day, and the number in red, of course, more than what was recorded the previous day. And you have Bangkok coming in at 578 cases today, followed by Nakhon Si Thammarat, Chonburi, Songkhla, Samut Prakan, and the list goes on. Before closing today, let me dedicate a bit of time in this briefing to thank everyone for all of your comments that we have received in many different platforms, including Facebook. Although we would like to respond to each and every individual case here, please rest assured that many of the questions received are actually followed up by our team with the agencies involved, and they do indeed help us to identify where and what we need to look into more closely. In fact, many of the comments are brought to bear on our consideration and review of the public health measures that we have in place. But if you allow me to respond here very shortly to some specific questions that may be useful for the wider audience regarding travelers under the age of 18 who enter Thailand. For children who are aged 12 to 17, if they are vaccinated with vaccines approved by the Thai government, they can enter the country with or without their parents. Children in this age range are considered fully vaccinated even if they have only received 1 dose. If they are not vaccinated, for children in the age range of 12 to 17, they can and must travel and enter the country in the same scheme as their parents or legal guardians. So under 18, you are fine to enter the country if not vaccinated if you are traveling with your parents. Testing, of course, is the same and remains the same for all cases. The next slide then that we have prepared for you regards the fact that the CCSA has approved shortening the period to wait for your 3rd dose. We have a bit of information up there, so I will just wait a moment. This information, of course, is accessible if you go to the Facebook or website of the Public Relations Department of Thailand. The formulas there that you have on screen are a very good guide for you to prepare if you are considering that 3rd dose. So once again, let's continue to be vigilant and to practice universal prevention measures. for your safety and the safety of those around you. Let me thank here everyone for their continued cooperation and encourage them to be mindful of things like mask wearing and social distancing, which have become very good practice here in Thailand, as a matter of fact. The numbers are steadily decreasing, but the new variants on the scene remind us that we do have to continue to adjust to this new normal. This is all I have for today. The end of the year is fast approaching, and we urge that you please prepare well ahead for any travel you're planning, check important updates, and take extra care of this holiday season. Stay safe. Thank you. สวัสดีค่ะ